Tonight on Children's Hospital, doctors help 18-year-old cystic fibrosis sufferer Zanib realise her dream.
I'm not going to let CF come in my way. My ambition is to go to the University of Manchester.
Tests reveal what's wrong with 4-week-old Harley Pierre.
I'm scared.
And what's 4-year-old Luke got stuck up his nose.
That's well done.
Opened in June 2009, Royal Manchester Children's Hospital is now the biggest hospital of its kind in Britain. Bright, light and packed with the very latest high-tech equipment, its 1,000-strong team of highly trained medics use cutting-edge technology to provide world-class care to the children of the city and beyond. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's the middle of winter, and seasonal bugs and viruses are keeping staff at the hospital busier than ever. Zanib Nassim was admitted 2 weeks ago with a severe viral infection.
Zanib? Zanib?
Zanib initially came to hospital with increasing cough. We noticed she was spiking temperature quite frequently. She was feeling quite tired and lethargic. And then we diagnosed her as having swine flu. It was a confirmed case of swine flu.
But Zanib is no stranger to the Children's Hospital. She has cystic fibrosis, a chronic illness that weakens her lungs, leaving her vulnerable to infection. And a virus like swine flu could prove fatal.
It has knocked me for sick, swine flu has. It's horrible. It was quite high and in the news about swine flu and people dying of it, so that really scared me because I was like, oh my God, no more people are dying with it. What's going to happen to me? Yeah.
At 18 years old, Zanib is one of the hospital's oldest patients. She's been treated by the cystic fibrosis team since she was 6 months old. Consultant Dr. Jay Panica has been looking after her for the past 3 years and is monitoring her carefully.
Swine flu infection per se is new to all of us, so it's quite difficult to see how it's going to affect Zanib or other CF kids in the long term.
Any viral infection in children with CF is worrying. It can be potentially quite damaging and quite dangerous.
Having cystic fibrosis means Zanib's body produces a thick mucus that clogs up her lungs. She has a grueling daily regime to control it.
These are my medicines, I have to take them every day. So they got my vitamins, my antibiotics. These are my nebulizers, so I have to take these. I take about 55 medicines a day. It's just like a routine for me. I don't have anything to compare it against, so it's just my normal life.
After 2 weeks in hospital, Zanib is over the worst of the swine flu, but the virus has left her lungs working at less than half their capacity, and the team need to see if there's been any change. Catherine Thornton has worked as a specialist cystic fibrosis physiotherapist for 8 years.
What we're looking for is to see a good improvement in the lung function. When we did them last, it was 36%, so we're looking to get as close to 80% as possible, really.
Try.
Zanib's condition means her lungs will never function at 100%. Her usual reading is around 80%.
All the way, I want all of it out. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Try and keep calm.
But after a few blows, Zanib is exhausted.
You all right? Nothing? Can we drink some water? You feel tired?
And despite all this effort, the results are disappointing.
36%, up to 46. I think a lot of it is the viral infection.
Yeah.
And I think it will take longer for your airways to recover from that.
I was hoping for a bit more than that, about 50–60%. But I think because of being so ill, I think it's just knocked everything out of me.
It's crucial that Zanib regain some strength in her lungs. They're still only working at half their capacity, leaving her chest dangerously vulnerable to more infections. In the hospital's accident and emergency department, 4-week-old Harley Pierre has arrived with his mum and her friend. Harley's been sick after nearly every feed, and doctors want to have his stomach examined to see what the problem is.
Hi there. Can you tell me a little bit about what's been happening?
It's just been throwing up, but like projectile vomiting, where it's like flying against walls and stuff. It's been getting worse over the last week, where it's just every feed.
Right, and we'll have a look on the ultrasound machine and see if we can see anything. He's nice and relaxed there anyway at the moment, which is good.
Dr. Rishi Sethi is the radiologist on duty. He's going to use ultrasound to scan Harley.
It's quite a nice picture there. This is the stomach, and that's the exit of the stomach, just up there.
The muscle that allows Harley's stomach to empty appears to be larger than usual.
Lengthwise, we usually like it to be below 17 millimetres, and in him it's about 18, 19 millimetres.
Harley has an abnormality. Untreated, his growth will be affected and he could get badly dehydrated.
He can be laying his Moses basket and then throw up. Obviously, with him being on his back, I feel like he's choking on it. And he heaves a lot, so that obviously scares me. It's not nice for anybody to be sick, is it?
Dr. Alex Blythe interprets Harley's ultrasound results.
Okay, so what we now know is the reason that he's vomiting is he's got pyloric stenosis. So what that means is that the muscle at the bottom end of his stomach, for reasons that we don't really know why, is thicker and tighter than normal, which means that the milk isn't going out of his stomach and going down where it should do, and instead he's vomiting it back up.
Right.
All right? Now, it's relatively easy for the surgeons to fix that, and they will organise to do an operation to fix it.
I don't even want him to be operated at all, to be honest.
Yeah. But if we don't operate, he will continue to vomit and he will become dehydrated.
The news is not a complete surprise to Harley's mum. The condition often runs in families.
He's thrown up in his granddad's, and his granddad said, "Does he always do that?" So I said, "Yes. Do you want to go and get that checked out?" Because me and Scott both suffer with the same thing when we was little. Look at my big scar. I thought, oh, great. And his dad's got the same scar. They both had to go through operations. I'm scared. I'm scared. Be all right.
In the morning, Harley Pierre will have an operation that should end his discomfort. In another part of A&E, Professor of Emergency Medicine Simon Carley is running a clinic for kids with previous injuries. Today he's checking up on 2-year-old Harris, who burnt his neck and arm a week ago.
What happened originally?
It was a hot cup of soup on the high chair.
Okay.
And he came running towards it and pulled it down. And it went all over him.
Can we take your top off and have a look at how you're getting better? Just slip this off. Oh, dear.
He was terrible last time, so...
I tell you what, should we have a look at the head first, then?
Poor Harris is fed up with doctors going near his injuries. It's going to take Professor Carley's best skills of distraction to get the job done.
Hey, mate, have a look at this, Harris.
Bubbles. Bubbles. Wow. Want me to take it off? Go.
When these are dressed the first time, they're painful. You know, it's a painful burn, and you've got that association with it, and he's going to have to unlearn the fact, because what we're doing now isn't painful. Was he quite distressed first time round?
Very terrible.
Okay. That looks brilliant. It's getting a bit of cover of skin cells coming over the top of it now, so that's actually healing quite nicely.
Okay.
Since he's doing so well, I think we'll leave this one actually open. The one on the arm, we'll just have to have a simple sticky on there, and we'll see it on Monday. And if everything's okay on Monday, you never have to come back and see us again. Hooray! Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Just pop this on your arm, make it better.
Well, it was better this time, the bandage anyway. As far as last time, it was just terrible with it. So I'm happier this time, yeah.
I think he's got the memory of how painful that burn was when it first happened. So any time that you go back into there, his body, his mind will be thinking, oh, it's going to be as painful again, and that's obviously distressing. All we can try and do is each time he comes is chip it away and try and make it the least amount of stress as we can, so that each time he gets better and better, and hopefully in a couple more visits he'll actually be fine.
On their way from accident and emergency to the hospital's ear, nose and throat department are 4-year-old Luke and his mum.
Just took something to clean his nose with and it just ended up going up his nostril.
Mum was trying to get out, but it didn't come out.
He told me it was tissue that he had up his nose. So I was trying to get him to sneeze and blow his nose, but it wasn't coming out. And then it wasn't until this morning he actually told me it was a toy. I think it's a pellet. I think he's just took it off and shoved up his nose.
The toy pellet needs to be removed before it goes any deeper. Mr. De Silva is the doctor on duty.
Oh. Yeah, you can see a little yellow little toy or something in his nose.
Although it's a simple procedure, Mr. De Silva needs to make sure he doesn't push the object any further in.
You did very well. We're nearly there. That's well done. All out. You did really well. The only thing you should put in your nose is your elbow. That's the lesson, isn't it?
That's actually the first incident he's done shoving anything anywhere, really.
You know what? Where's Zanny?
Judging by his behaviour in the consultation room,
Stop it.
Luke's not learnt his lesson.
Bye.
Coming up, Zanny works hard to get the strength back into her lungs.
Go, keep going all the way.
And it's Harley Pierre's operation. Staff at Royal Manchester Children's Hospital's A&E department treat nearly 800 children every week. Of those, between 20 and 30 need to stay in for surgery. And one of them is 4-week-old Harley Pierre.
You can never tell an operation what is going to happen. That's what scares me.
Harley Pierre needs an operation on his stomach to stop him vomiting. He's got a condition called pyloric stenosis. That means the muscle at the bottom of his stomach is enlarged, stopping food leaving. It's a minor operation, but it's still an anxious time for his mum. 4-week-old Harley only arrived in the hospital less than 24 hours ago.
He's 4 weeks old. No matter how many times people say he'll be all right and nothing will happen, you always think the worst.
The hospital specialises in this corrective procedure. Around 2 in 1,000 babies are born with the condition. Surgeon Joe Minford has done the operation many times.
Because it's more likely to happen if you've had somebody else in your family with it, there must be some sort of genetic component to it, but nobody's found out what that is. You'd only see it in babies of this sort of age, and it's more likely to happen at certain times of year. So there is a theory that there's some environmental, like a virus or something like that, that contributes to developing it. Can I have a pair of tooth forceps, please, Ian?
The surgical team make an incision above the belly button so they can get to the muscle at the bottom of the stomach.
Separate some of that so you've got nice clean planes to work with. Yeah?
The muscle is too big and is stopping food leaving Harley's stomach. It needs to be cut and loosened to stop him vomiting.
Suture scissors, please. So what Annie's got there is the stomach and the pyloric part of the stomach, which is very thick and solid. It should be more like that, soft and pliable, and it's very thick and hard. So he's just going to score it now with a knife and part all those muscle fibres. Better to work. We're happy with that, so we're going to close up and then we're finished.
Harley Pierre's surgery is over. He'll soon be reunited with his mum. 18-year-old Zanib suffers from the incurable genetic disease cystic fibrosis that leaves her lungs dangerously vulnerable to infection. 3 weeks ago, she was admitted into the hospital with swine flu. This has left her lungs working at under half their capacity.
Sorry, it's because I haven't done my physio.
Her consultant, Jay Panica, is keeping a close eye on her.
We are quite aware of the fact that her lung function has dropped again, but I think we just have to monitor her for time being.
Put my hand on there.
Zanib is in the middle of an intensive physiotherapy regime to help rebuild the strength in her lungs.
We're trying to clear as much out of Zanib's chest as we can do to keep her airways clear, which obviously then helps to keep her lung functions up and impacts on her quality of life.
It just helps you not go into a coughing fit so quickly. I can breathe more easily, like before I was having loads of coughing fits.
OK. Remember, nice and under control. She certainly seems much better now than when she came in. It'll be a case of gradually building her exercise tolerance back up, and we'll get her back in the gym.
Zanib's coped with poor health all her life and has had to face the difficult reality that she has a chronic illness with an average life expectancy of 40. But Zanib is planning on beating the odds and is determined to achieve big things in life.
I'm not going to let CF come in my way. I've got exams for my biology and law, so I need to revise for them. My ambition is to go to the University of Manchester and study pharmacy there. And maybe if I do this, I can help people and make better medicines for cystic fibrosis, and it might change someone's life.
Zanib is an inspiration to the team who've been treating her for most of her life.
If you're not careful and you let CF rule you, then you don't do anything, and then you lose any ambition and any drive. Zanib's got ambitions and she's going to work hard to achieve those ambitions. She's in control of her CF and not letting it control her.
But Zanib's exams are just around the corner, so it's even more important that she gets her health back on track.
My lung function was 36% last week, so it wasn't that great. So I just need to do a bit of exercise, do my physiotherapy, and hopefully I'll be back on track again.
Zanib's lung function needs to significantly improve if she has any chance of regaining her strength and fulfilling her dreams. On the surgical recovery ward, 4-week-old Harley Pierre is reunited with his mum after his operation.
He's absolutely fine. Got him? Yeah.
When I went into labour, I was in labour for 4 days, and that seemed long, but the 2.5 hours seemed a hell of a lot longer. I think I'm more excited about giving him a bottle and knowing he won't throw up on me.
One night and 3 successful feeds later, and staff are happy to let Harley Pierre go back home to his family. He'll have to return for a checkup, but a little scar should be the only reminder of his short stay in hospital.
We're hoping that he keeps his food down. I'm going to try to change him as much.
18-year-old cystic fibrosis sufferer Zanib is about to have some important tests. Her lungs have been left weak from the swine flu virus. Today she will find out if they've shown any signs of improvement.
OK, there we go. That's it, go, keep going all the way.
If her lungs don't regain their strength, this could leave her chest vulnerable to further infections and seriously affect the quality of her life.
Well done. OK, you can go through and show Dr. Panica.
It's a tense moment for Zanib. Her consultant, Dr. Panica, has the results.
So how have you been?
Yeah, I've been okay.
Have you got the energy back?
Yeah, I've got my energy back.
So hopefully we have got through that bad phase of, whatever infection you had. Your lung function actually picked up. It has come up from 36 to almost 60. That's pretty good. Things are looking quite positive now. So it seems as if you have recovered from the swine flu and, you got your lung functions back.
Yeah.
And you're feeling much better and got your energy back. That's really good. I'm really pleased with her progress, and I think she has come through it really well. And I think we managed to get her well just at the right time for her exams.
With the swine flu well and truly beaten, Zanib is on the way to getting her health back on track. She can now concentrate on realising her dream.
When is the exam?
Next week, on Tuesday.
How is the revision going?
It's okay, it's good.
Getting there?
Yeah.
That's really pleasing. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Take care and good luck with that exam.
The following week, Zanib was well enough to sit her exams and went on to have an interview at Manchester University. She's back at the hospital today with some news for the medical team who've looked after her for most of her life.
Hi, just came to tell you that I've got a place at Manchester to do pharmacy.
I'm really pleased, Okay, well done, Zanib.
Thank you.
We all are proud of Zanib. She is quite inspirational for all our CF children.
Well done.
She has never let CF rule her life. To attain what she has just achieved is really remarkable.
You were the ones who actually inspired me and made me choose my career. But hopefully I will be coming back as a pharmacist, not as a patient.